And Chuck, a little later on, the president is going to make a speech in Berlin. Of course, he was there in 2008, greeted like a rock star. This is the 50th anniversary of JFK's speech in Berlin, and we're expecting a major announcement in terms of nuclear stockpiles.
The president will be here to deliver a speech in which he'll call for the simultaneous reduction of nuclear stockpiles in the United States and Russia, something the White House hopes will continue a sequence of American presidents giving famous and memorable speeches at this very memorable place.
This afternoon, President Obama travels to Berlin. While there, he will give a speech at the historic Brandenburg Gate, 50 years after John Kennedy gave his famous Ich bin ein Berliner speech. Expectations are high. It was in 2008 during the campaign that Obama addressed one of his largest audiences ever right there in Berlin. George?
Yeah, that was one of the most memorable moments of the campaign.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Steve Malzberg, hour number 2. And you heard the anticipation over the speech that Barack Obama made the other day in Berlin. But the anticipation never lived up to its hype. I mean, the result never lived up to the anticipation or to the hype of the anticipation. It was a dud of a speech. It had people like Chris Matthews saying, well, you know, he didn't have his teleprompter. It was hot. There were only 6,000 people there. He needs a bigger crowd. They were making all kinds of excuses as to why the speech was such a dud. The speech actually was a dud. And the interesting part, of course, is that the networks, and by the way, you heard there from Chuck Todd of NBC, Major Garrett from CBS, Jonathan Karl from ABC, and there was never any follow-up. Never any follow-up from the networks talking about what a dud the speech was. We could bring her in. Let's bring her in. This is live television. We do what we want to do here, and we don't make apologies for it. Joining us right now, is Noelle Nikpour, columnist at the Sun Sentinel and a Republican strategist. You see her on Fox a lot. Hello there. Welcome back. Weren't you just here?
Was.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's good. We're back again. We were just here. Anyway, well, let me ask you about the falling ratings of the president. The latest Rasmussen poll now has the president's job approval rating at 44%. It continues to drop, and it's got to be directly related to all these scandals.
You mean you're talking about the global citizen Obama?
The global citizen, yes. And his new mantra is peace with justice, which is kind of from Karl Marx and Al Sharpton combined.
Oh, what a bad combo.
Boy.
You know, I think that his falling approval rating is a fact of, due to the fact of his failed policies are just resonating with the good people of the United States. I think that a lot of the disappointment falls with the moderate, the independent voter that may have voted for Bush, thought that Bush overspent, and then turned around and voted for the hope and change Obama, which they got shortchanged and, you know, out of luck.
Yeah, well, the independent, I think in one of the last polls, not this one in particular, a CNN poll, independents dropped 17 points from the poll just a month prior.
Yeah.
So it's definitely resonating with him. Let's move on to immigration.
Yeah.
And what's your take? I don't know if we discussed immigration. I think we were hung up on the gay marriage thing last time, which we could have been hung up again on today if the Supreme Court had weighed in. But now they're delaying that. They knew you'd be here.
They knew.
They didn't want us to talk about it today. They waited till next week. So let's look at immigration reform and where do you fall on this?
Well, it's a mixed bag, and I'll tell you why. The burden for the immigration reform bill, I think, lays on the Republican Party. We are the ones that are so divisive within our House. I mean, this is what's so bad. We already have a branding problem, and now we are seen all over the media as divided amongst our party with the immigration reform bill. One of the things, you know, I think we've got, you know, we keep throwing around this 11 million illegals that are here. You know, we do have millions of people that are here. We've got to deal with that. And I think also the one that Corker has out from
the border security bill.
Yeah, I think that the strange thing about that is the fact that they've offered a solution to really, you know, putting more people, you know, getting the border tightly secured. So they're leaving it up to some of the naysayers within our party to say, now what? Now we've put this in here. Now
They're
what's
trying to
the
force
beef?
their hand, right,
What's
on the
the
bill.
beef?
Well, let me go back to 2010 and Marco Rubio. This is the old Marco Rubio. I'm not sure who he has become. Your senator from the great state of Florida, and at this point you could have him because he's been all over the map on this. I'm not going to vote against my own bill. I like my bill. I don't like my bill. It's amnesty. It's not amnesty. Here's cut 12, and this is what he called all this back then in 2010. Let's give it a listen.
30 seconds to address what was just said.
First of all, earned path to citizenship is basically code for amnesty. It's what they call it. And the reality of it is this. This has to do with the bottom line that America cannot be the only country in the world that does not enforce its immigration laws. It is unfair to the people that have legally entered this country to create an alternative pathway for individuals who entered illegally and knowingly did so. And all I'm saying is that if you do that, if I may finish my statement on this, if you do that, you will never have a legal immigration system that works. No one's going to follow the law. There's an easier way to do it.
I know you need to, but I think it's very, very important.
All right,
listen to how they're selling it.
Basically, what he said was, because I realize you can't hear it.
Yeah, nice trick to play on your guest.
Is that this is all a code word for amnesty, and that it's the U.S. has to enforce its immigration laws, and that it's unfair to create an alternative path to citizenship for those who came here illegally. It's unfair to the people who did it the right way, and we'll never fix our system if we reward people who broke the law to get here. Like a completely different person than what we're hearing here in 2013. And here's my take on this thing. First of all, the Republicans are in a lose-lose situation. They put themselves in it. Hispanics came out of the voting booth. Pew talked to them, and immigration reform in the last presidential election was number 4 on their list of concerns. So I don't even think this enters into most Hispanics' world or lexicon. Now, no matter how far the Republicans go, if they do pass immigration reform, no matter what's in it, there will be things left out because of the evil Republicans, like the Leahy Amendment on homosexual and gay partners of immigrants, all kinds of different things that the Democrats will then, the minute the bill is signed, say, well, Hispanics, we would have given you this and this and this, but you don't have it. You know why? Because the evil Republicans wouldn't let it in. So no matter how much they give and how disastrous this bill will be, in my opinion, for America, they'll still be portrayed to Hispanics by the media, by Democrats, as the evil Republicans. So they're foolish to think we have to do this to get the Hispanics back in our path, or we'll never win another election. They don't know. And the CBO says in 20 years, 46 million immigrants will be here that aren't here now. 99% of them will vote Democrat. It's suicide for the Republicans on every level.
You know what? It's a lose-lose no matter what. And the fact that more will be here and they're probably going to vote Democratic, what choice do we have other than to find some way to work bipartisanly with this? Now, let me tell you the flip side of that. When more and more people come, we are saying that they're probably going to go Democratic. They might. But here's the funny part. Once they get here, they're not all lawn workers, dishwashers. Some of these people want to do startup companies. Some of these people want to have restaurants, clothing stores, any kind of, they're going to start paying taxes, in other words. And they're going to look at what our platform, the GOP, has to offer. And we may actually get some of this. If you look at the Hispanic voter, if you look at them as a whole, socially, they pretty much align with the GOP.
That's why they don't, in my opinion, we don't need this reform nonsense to get them. I think they should flock to us. And you know what? No,
but
president,
they're not.
No, they're not. But it's not because of immigration reform. Look, they didn't do it. Reagan lost the Hispanic vote hugely and won 2 landslides. George H.W. lost the Hispanic vote hugely. He won. Bush lost it by not as big a margin, and he won. So it's not like we've been winning the Hispanic vote traditionally. We've always lost the Hispanic vote.
But politically, the GOP has a branding problem, and we look like an elitist country club. So it's more about politics, and this is a positioning depending on what we do with the immigration reform bill to look like we are the party of we don't want your type, we don't want this, we don't want that. In my opinion, it is a political issue.
But when we have Hispanic governors or senators or whatever, they're portrayed as, like every black Republican, they're portrayed as sellouts and not really, down for the cause or whatever the expression is. With Governor Martinez, or whether it's Rubio, he took a glass of water. Yeah, I mean, they'll diminish our candidates if they're minority, or our sitting politicians if they're minority. So it doesn't matter. See, here's what Republicans have to understand. No matter what Republicans do, and Republicans, by the way, on a national level, They win the state houses. They win the governorships. They win the legislature. So nationally, we're resonating. A presidential election is different, and unless our advisors to these candidates understand that we're not only running against Hillary or Obama, we're running against every media outlet, and everything we do will be twisted and perverted, then there's no way to win. You got to fight back.
Even the media has helped diminish the Republican brand by pointing out specifically when you said, Hispanic and black, Republicans. The fact, when you are a Democrat, no matter what you are, you're a Democrat. Have you ever noticed when you're a black Republican or you're a black Hispanic or whatever, they actually call you, this is an African American, this is a black Republican. This is heinous that we are doing this, but we are labeling within our party, and the media is going along with this. Look at this wonderful governor. She is a Latina Republican. But if she were a Democrat, she wouldn't be called a Latina Democrat. She's just a Democrat. So we have that we have to combat too.
No, we have so many things we have to combat. It's ridiculous. And I don't know that the Republican Party has the intestinal fortitude to do it.
Well, but look, we do. Look at Obama's, back to the original question. Look at Obama's approval rating. It's down, and it's not down because they don't think he's cool. He's very cool.
And he supports immigration reform, and he supports gun control, and he supports gay marriage, and he supports abortion.
Personally, his brand is brand cool. I mean, it's cool to have a Gucci handbag, drive a BMW, and have an Obama T-shirt. He is cool. But what's showing?
Does he have an Obama T-shirt?
I do not. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
But the odd part of this is popularity. As far as being a cool cat, he's got that. But I think people are looking at this, and I think the poll is reflecting this. His popularity as president is going down because of the way his policies have failed.
No, I couldn't agree more. And that's why I think, by the way, we're talking to Noelle Nikpour, a columnist at the Sun Sentinel and a Republican strategist. You see her on Fox all the time. No, that's not good.
Hello, mother.
Yeah. So where do we go from here as a party? I mean, is this immigration bill going to pass? It's not going to pass in the House, and I think that's a good thing. And again, we just have to be ready for the way it's going to be portrayed.
Well, I mean, think about this: the immigration reform bill is not going to pass in the House, probably.
Right.
And the farm bill just got knocked down.
Being a big defeat for Boehner.
But look at this. This is the Republicans. They are divided. They're divided on the immigration reform bill. They're divided, obviously, on the farm bill, which was basically the food stamp bill. I mean, the farm bill.
But there's nothing wrong with being divided. It's portrayed as something bad when it's Republicans.
Yes, it is. In our party, it's bad because the Democrats are pretty much united. I mean, there's a few squabbles here and there, but they're pretty much united, and they're seen as united. The Republicans are seen as polar opposite. You've got the moderates, you've got the extreme religious right wing, you have the Tea Party, you have all kinds of factors within this one platform, and nobody can decide what shoe to put forward. Even the RNC has had an image problem that they're trying to get over in hiring consultants.
Yeah, well, that whole study by the RNC I thought was pretty much
that Karl
disaster.
Rove, I think, is actually behind, which is what they're trying to wash out, and yet they've hired the great architect to come, and I think he's actually in charge of some project out in the West Coast to look at voter things. And
well,
I'm like,
that's what I mean. The Republican Party can't get out of its own way. All right, anyway, Noelle.